apart, but call me Grayson. Well, ladies, this is your space for inspiration, empowerment, and real conversations with women who are redefining the game.
Well, welcome to another episode of SKST Radio, and you're tuned into Girl Talk. Man, I'm so excited. This lady that we have today is incredible. I've been chatting with her before the show started, and she is going to bring to us the hidden disabilities talk. And so she goes by the name of Michelle Steiner. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, let's tell us a little bit about you.
Okay, my name is Michelle Steiner. I am a writer, speaker, photographer, and teacher's assistant. I work in a school with students who have disabilities and some who don't. I also have a blog called Michelle's Mission where I write about my life with a learning disability and I feature my photography. And I live in Pennsylvania with my husband, Ron, and our two cats, Jack and Sparrow.
Well, let me ask you something. So, you live the life with having a disability. And so what do you consider a disability?
I think, well, for me, having a disability is I have difficulty with math. I have dyscalculia, so I have difficulty with how numbers work. I'm not able to tell time on the face of a clock. I get lost in the steps of a math problem. I also have visual perception in both, but it affects my brain, not my eyes. And I have limited hand dexterity in both of my hands, and that affects my fine motor skills, such as opening up doors and opening up cans, and things will fall out of my hands.
Wow. See, and people don't understand that it happens all different kinds of ways, right?
Right.
Like being dyslexic. A lot of people don't realize, that is a disability that you can try to overcome, but you'll always have it, And so yeah, I'm amazed by that because, we still function the right way. It's just our way. It might takes us a little longer or a little way, around it, but we still can overcome it. And so the things that you have done is amazing, with your degree and your photography and your books. And so tell us what about the challenges and how you got where you are now?
Well, I faced a lot of these challenges, especially whenever I was younger. I was diagnosed with having a learning disability whenever I was in kindergarten. And my teacher noticed I was having difficulty in the classroom with tying my shoes, writing my name, anything with math. And she recommended that I get tested for having a learning disability. And sure enough, I do have one. And I had to repeat the grade. And I also began the next year with having learning support and having accommodations. And it was really difficult during those years. I can just remember really struggling academically to learn, and socially, it was really hard for me too. I went to a very small school district where everybody knew each other. And they accepted you if you were one of them. And it was pretty obvious from the time I was a small child, I wasn't one of them. So that was really difficult for me as well. I couldn't hide that I went to learning support for classes, and I couldn't hide that I struggled in regular ed. And as I went throughout school, though, life got a lot easier for me academically. I was in all regular ed classes except for math and a resource room. I also found out that I was good at reading and writing. My dad found a story when I was in second or third grade that it was about a dinosaur, and he said, "Oh, Michelle wrote this," and it was really good. And I thought, wow, I didn't think I was good at anything. But socially, school got a lot harder for me. A lot of it came from not just having someone saying they're not my friend anymore to threats. It also just was that I just wasn't really connecting with a lot of my peers. Everybody had their own little group, and I just didn't fit in with anybody. And then there was an art. Yeah, but there was an an art group that was right outside of our school district, and I got to find people at that group that didn't go to my school and they had the same interest that I did. And I found acceptance with that group. And after I transitioned out of that group, I found a writing group for adults. And these people got to see me grow as a writer and a person. And one of the most amazing things out of that is 30 some years later, we still meet once a month to talk about our writing. So
I love it.
yeah, I thought that was always something great, really special. But then the question came, well, what am I going to do after high school? I knew that I wanted to go to college, but I wasn't naive with the fact how hard it was going to be. And
Yes.
yeah, and I had a learning, yeah, and I had a learning support teacher who told me, well, I don't think you can handle college, and she suggested a trade school, even though nothing there interested me. And some of that would have turned out what everybody thought was going to be easy would have been a lot harder. I can't drive, so I don't think driving an ambulance would have been a good thing for me. Nobody wants me to cut their hair, and I don't think there's a lot of math involved in cooking. So I just decided that just wasn't the thing for me.
The niche for you. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I decided I'm going to go on to college. Well, I had even more stigma when I went to college. I had a psychiatrist who told me, based upon my scores, I would most likely not go beyond community college. I get to community college and I find even more stigma. I can remember my peers thinking that disability accommodations were cheating when they thought I was getting the answers if I went and got extra test time. I had staff that didn't support them. I can remember when I asked for a calculator, I was told, well, we use our brains in this class, not calculators. And I also had a professor that told me I would have limited job choices when I graduate. So that was really tough for me in the very beginning.
Right.
But I was able to graduate with my associate's degree in early childhood education. Mm-hmm. I moved out on my own for a couple of years. I lived in a central location where I could walk to where I needed to go and was really enjoying life. But I just really struggled with what my purpose was. And I also knew I wanted to someday find somebody, but there was just not a lot of opportunities. And I had people that rejected me for having a disability. I can remember my ex breaking up with me saying, oh, I think you could drive if you wanted to, but and I'm tired of taking you places. So that wasn't the right guy for me. And I was just wanted a better life for myself. And be careful what you wish for, it just might come true. And I had to move in with my parents for financial reasons again for a while. And my job was downsizing. And this time I looked into programs at university that had the least amount of math and science possible and had disability accommodations. And it was a much better experience. I used the services. I had a note taker. I had the extra test time. I had tutoring when I needed it. And I also advocated for myself. I would go up to a professor or somebody on campus, staff, and I would say, hi, my name is Michelle. I have a learning disability. These are the supports I'm going to need. And most of the time I got professors that were understanding and did everything they could do to help. Mm-hmm. Occasionally I got one that didn't quite get the memo, but that was all right. I knew how to handle it. And my grades improved dramatically. And I even made Dean's List for a semester.
Wow.
Thank you.
Amazing.
During that time, I also met my husband, and we had we started our relationship at that point. So that was really nice. And after graduation, it took a while for us for me to be able to find the job that was disability friendly. A lot of places claimed that they were, and they were anything but that. Yeah. And it's also during that time I got married, and that was definitely a blessing, because I didn't think I was going to find somebody, but God had other plans, and he was showing me like these different visions of that. I had a friend that asked me, are you seeing anyone right now, when I was volunteering at the Art Center? And I said, no, I'm not at this time. And he said, well, I have a feeling you're going to meet somebody at a place like this. And that is where I actually met my husband at. He was playing guitar that night. And I decided we both were there, and that he saw me, and it turns out we knew mutual friends. And then I had another friend that had a dream before I met him and said, Michelle, I had this dream that you were standing in front of the courthouse and you were wearing a vintage dress. And I don't know who the guy is. And I thought, well, the vintage dress I can see, that's my style, but why would I be in front of the courthouse and who's this guy? Well, we had a reception at the art center, and the photographer took us on a walk during the reception, and in the background of where she took the picture at, there is the courthouse. And I didn't realize until we got the pictures back that I'm standing in front of the courthouse with this vintage dress on.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
I
So that was
also,
a sign.
yeah. And also during that time too, I found my job as a paraeducator in a school. I work with students who have disabilities and some who don't, and I find it very rewarding to work with students. I've been there for about 15 years, and I just find that to be so amazing to do that. All my kids know I can help them with anything except for math. And also the dream of becoming published happened as well. My husband and I moved into our house, I was diagnosed with limited hand dexterity in both of my hands. And I was so frustrated because I couldn't unlock the door that I submitted an article to the Mighty for what's a seemingly easy task for others, but it's difficult with your disability. And when it got published, it was just so amazing. I
Uh-huh.
had such a great following that I decided that I was going to write more articles for the Mighty, and I started to write for other places as well. And I started my own blog, Michelle's Mission, where I write about my life with a learning disability, and I get the chance to feature my photography as well.
Wow. Well, we're going to take a quick break, Michelle, and then we come back. We want to learn more about your writing and what books you have coming up.
Sounds good.
One, two, three, four, oh yeah. Take it back.
Wow. If you just tuned in, you haven't tuned in too late. You tuned into the Cammie Grayson Show. And we are here speaking with Michelle Steiner. And we're learning all the amazing things that she has overcame. And now she's just flourishing in her happy life. And man, I'm very excited for you, Michelle. Very excited. So Michelle is a published author. And so she's going to tell us about how that part of her life got started.
Right. I can remember that was that first article on the Mighty that I wrote about with my struggle with unlocking the door. And that just was the start of everything else that I did with writing. I finally got that courage to do that. And I write a lot on my blog. I also got the courage to start a blog. And I write a lot about just a life with a learning disability. And I use a lot of nature analogies as well with that. So I might talk about the process of accepting my disability as like a flower that's unblooming. Or I might talk about the transformation that a butterfly goes through and how I've done that in my life. And the mission statement of Michelle's Mission is to encourage, empower, and educate people with and without disabilities.
I love it. I love it. So, okay. So doing all this that you're doing, all these different projects and everything, I know you mentioned that you lived with your parents for a little while and they were there for you. Tell us about your support system. Tell us about how, your parents were there for you and how they worked with you through the struggles that you had to overcome. And then your husband, how did he take that and how did he embrace and became your number one supporter?
Sure. My mom and dad never gave up on me. Whenever I was young, we spent a lot of long, tearful homework sessions together, but they really never gave up on me in life, and they advocated for me, and they explained that I had a learning disability and that I learned differently. And that was something that I had to learn how to advocate for myself at that point. when I was an adult. But my husband has always been supportive from our first date. He was the first person when I told him that I don't drive because I have a learning disability. He was the first person that said, "Well, how does that make you feel with having a learning disability?" So I knew he was a keeper. And it's been a learning curve with having one, but I'm really lucky to have a supportive husband who loves to drive and does not mind taking me places. And we work together with having with the disability.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. I love it. So what projects are you working on right now?
I have a children's book that's coming out, which is totally new for me. I do not write a lot of children's, but I did have a story of many years ago, and I finally started working on it, and it will be published in probably a few days, and it'll be a digital format. It's called The Ladybug Who Could Not Count Her Spots, and it's a children's book about dyscalculia.
I love it. I love it. So, I'm excited about that because, I write children's books too. And
Nice.
just to see how, to see a little kid, I did a YouTube of Jada's Amazing Stories, right? Jada's Amazing Adventures. And I remember in the back, we showed it to a person that was in the studio, and she had a child. And we put the video on, and that kid was like, just a high about seeing the book come to life. And I just love writing children's stories now. I mean, at first I didn't, but now it's just like one of those things. So how do you feel about your book?
I'm very excited about it coming out. I just think that is really important because I think a lot of times with dyscalculia, a lot of people weren't aware of that. I knew when I was a kid growing up, most of the people I knew that really struggle with learning disability struggle with reading, not math. So while my story is about a ladybug, obviously not a person, I do think it is important, though, that maybe other children can read that and realize, oh, I struggle with math too, and that's okay.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, girl, I'm telling you, I am so proud of you. And I want you to take a moment to give us some words of wisdom. So if
I would just
go ahead.
Sure. I love to say the success doesn't always come in the package that we expect. Sometimes it comes in something even better. And I just want to encourage people to know what they want and to be able to find a way to get there.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Now, so the girl talk question of the day.
Okay.
The girl talk question of the day basically is, are you happy with the person you see in the mirror today?
I am happy with her today. I'm proud of what she has accomplished, and I look forward to what is in the future for me.
I love it. Absolutely love it. Michelle, thank you so much for being on the show. I want to invite you back so we can keep up with the ladybugs that can't count her spots to see how that's going, because I do an Authors Network, and so I would love to have you back when the book is out, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, guys, until the next time, SKST Radio. Bye for now. Tell them goodbye, Michelle.
Bye-bye.
An SKST Radio Network production. Powered by SKST Radio Network and